Gusts themselves, you see the brighter reds just outside the Navy Yard, Capitol Hill, over toward northeast. Here's Trinidad, Highway 50 over toward Noma. Going to get some wind gusts now, about 55 to 60 miles per hour. A little bit of spin on this thing was enough to tighten it up with the tornado warning now until 7 o'clock for far northeast D.C., extreme western Prince George's County, and for extreme areas of Montgomery County there to the south. So what that means for you is your tornado safe zone. Go into an interior room, the lowest level, and stay away from the windows. That's a hallway, a stairwell, a lot of apartment buildings. Again, that interior room, lowest floor, a basement if you have it. That's going to be the best place as to seek shelter from this tornado.
All right, we're going to go right now. We're looking at storm track for you, and you can see it on the roads right now with heavy rain and strong gusty winds. We'll take max number 2 right now full, and we'll show you, if you're watching us right now over in LaDroit, this is our street level mapping for you, showing where the heaviest the rain is now beginning to fall. And we are going to see this tornado warning extend until 7 o'clock. Now, if you're watching us a little bit farther off to the north and east over toward Chillum, this is on the way over the next 15 minutes or so. Here's the latest briefing from the National Weather Service. It's until 7 o'clock at 6:42. A severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado was located just over Howard University, moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. And once again, this is radar indicated. We have no indication that this is actually on the ground. However, the tornado warning does remain in effect. Not a very long duration tornado warning, Jordan, until 7 o'clock. So about 12 minutes to go with this as we move through the evening. Now, we do believe that this line that's moving through right now is going to be the strongest that we're going to see, and then the heavier rain will continue as we head through at least the mid part of the evening, and then later on tonight we are going to see things begin to improve. On top of the tornado warning, I need to stress that we have very, very heavy rain that's across the area right now, and we are going to see that flash flood warning continue until 8:45 this evening. That does include the district and Alexandria over into Arlington and parts of Fairfax, but our main focus, at least for the next 15 minutes, this tornado warning until 7 o'clock. Let's head over to Jordan. He has a little bit of an update for us.
Yeah, so likely, Steve, we will not see a tornado, no indication of one, but just some rotation up in the clouds. My main concern are the gusty winds. We're talking about downbursting winds out of these storms right now, northeast D.C. Some of these brighter reds, we're going to turn on the query tool and just to show you radar estimates of just how strong these winds are. Anywhere from 65, maybe some wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Weather Service may upgrade that severe thunderstorm warning to a considerable level, which means it should be taken more seriously than your baseline severe thunderstorm. We'll have to watch the spin over extreme western north Prince George's County, Steve, because this might be starting to tighten up just outside the Beltway. I will say D.C. now, we're mostly in the clear from this tornado warning itself, but we still have the warning technically for another looks like 11 minutes or so, but the spin's starting to broaden out here as it tracks toward Chillum and northern Prince George's County.
All right, so let's head back over to max number 2, and we'll show you once again. Here's that tornado warning. You can see it outlined right here on our computer. And once again, this was originally detected just about 7 minutes ago right over Howard University. It doesn't mean that one has hit the ground or made contact with the ground. It's just Doppler radar indicated at this time. And eventually, you can see the heavier rain, the winds now beginning to move over toward Chillum and then out of the district into Prince George's County. As we also mentioned, we have a lot of severe weather that's out there. This tornado warning is located within a broader severe thunderstorm warning, and we have wind gusts with that severe thunderstorm warning that does include the district, Arlington, and then it also includes a good chunk of Prince George's County. This extends also until 7 o'clock, but I wouldn't be surprised, Jordan, as I wind this out, that we'll see this continue to move over toward the north and east, eventually impacting Laurel and BWI Marshall. Jordan?
Yeah, and some new queries on the wind gusts, Steve. My main concern now are the straight line downbursting winds out of the storm. Take a look at some of the estimates here by the radar. We're talking 65, maybe some gusts up to 70 miles per hour. This is approaching Cheverly easily. The velocity signatures talking about wind gusts that could bring down some trees, may have some power outages. I'm going to take you into street level view in case you're watching us. Here's East Capitol Street all the way toward the Maryland state line. And we've got Benning Road northeast. Here's the Highway 295, River Terrace, and this is Massachusetts Avenue Southeast down here. The strongest winds, anywhere from 65 up to 70 miles per hour. Steve, I would not be surprised if we're talking about downed trees at some point in extreme northeast D.C.
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely. So once again, as we head over to max number 2, and we hear us talk about max 1 and max 2, that's our computer system that we use, and Jordan's using 1, I'm using 2, helps us give you the full picture here. So once again, tornado warning does remain in effect for about another 8.5 minutes. It does include parts of northeast D.C. and a very small portion of Prince George's County over toward Chilham. I want to show you this interesting tool here, and take it for what it is. This is the potential rotation, and Jordan and I were just talking about this about a half hour ago, and notice it's very dark blue, and if you look at the scale over in the legend, it's the weakest that it could possibly be. But even though we have a very weak perhaps rotation in the above the surface, we still have very, very strong thunderstorms across the immediate metro, and that's why we have this severe thunderstorm warning with winds upwards of 60 miles per hour, and that is going to continue for another like 8 minutes or so, along with that tornado warning. And Jordan has an interesting view here to show a clearer version of what our maps look like. And on top of this, I need to note that we have that flash flood warning. Jordan, more on that?
Yeah, and we actually had the situation with one of our tropical systems last year, Steve, is this can really talk about mixed messaging, because you have a tornado warning on top of the flash flood warning, and in terms of the precautions you're supposed to take, tornado warning is lowest level and interior room, but a flash flood warning is typically you want to seek higher ground if flash flood warning or if flash flooding is occurring. I will say the tornado warning would take probably priority over the flash flooding. We've not seen major flash flooding reports so far, so until this tornado warning drops, stay in that lowest level of your home or your structure until it expires, and then we'll want to watch the flash flooding concerns over the next couple of hours, Steve. This heavy rain, we've seen it outside those studios here in Roslyn, anywhere from 1 to 2 inch rainfall rates. We know how D.C. is, very urbanized. Flooding can occur quickly, and again, we need to take all the warnings seriously. You're getting that on your smartphone.
Yeah, so these are a couple of these, I believe, are live pictures. We have storm track in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and then we have another version. It looks like it's going through Roslyn, but heavy, heavy rain. And just want to go over with you once again that we do have a tornado warning. Here's the latest update for you, and this came in just about a couple of minutes ago. The original tornado warning was issued at around 6:42, and now this one will continue until 7 o'clock. The tornado threat now has diminished, and the tornado warning has been canceled. So once again, here's the update for you. The tornado warning has been canceled, even though you still see it on your screen here. What the National Weather Service does when they issue these warnings, if it's going to cancel out within 10 minutes of its expiration time, they let it expire at the original expiration. So it will expire technically at 7 o'clock, but this is brand new information coming from the National Weather Service that the tornado warning has now been canceled. However, large hail and damaging winds remain likely, and a severe thunderstorm warning still remains in effect until 7 o'clock. Jordan, one last update from you?
Yeah, again, we're just focusing on the gusty winds outside of that tornado warning. So extreme northeast D.C., northwestern Prince George's County, anywhere wind gusts 60 to 65 miles per hour. We'll get ready to send it back to programming, and that's World News tonight.
We're gonna hold on, Jordan, until 7 o'clock now.
Okay,
so
well,
here's the latest, a live situation here for you.
Yeah.
Scott Thuman joins us over at the anchor desk, and Scott, we were talking during the 6 o'clock news that it's not so typical that we see a flash flood warning that is issued before even a drop of rain hit, and now here we have the heavy, heavy rain that continues. And should note that before we go back to you, is that the tornado warning has now technically been canceled out, but it will stay in effect for the National Weather Service's sake until 7 o'clock, and we are now at 6:55.
Yeah, and that, of course, the great news, Steve, is that warning seems to have subsided. Nonetheless, though, I was just outside of our Arlington studios here, and I just posted some videos on X because the rain was coming down in sheets. It was just in torrents, and cars at the light weren't really sure what to do. I was watching people try and run across the road. You see here the umbrellas flipping inside out, and people just trying to get out of this one because a lot of lightning. And you warned us about that when you showed us that map earlier tonight, Steve, that the lightning strikes were already really numerous. But it's definitely rough out there, and people who may have to get somewhere should really avoid driving at least through this worst of it. And I would imagine that what we'll see moving forward are the reports of whatever damage there may be. We saw trees down just yesterday, and as you pointed out, Steve and Jordan, the weather today, much worse than yesterday. So if we had trees and power lines down yesterday, you would imagine we may see some of the same today.
And it's going to take a little bit of time for these storm reports to come in. And just looking at these pictures of the video that's on the side here, there's definitely going to be trees down, power outages. There is now a ground stop at Reagan National Airport. I suspect one is coming to BWI Marshall. And earlier when Jordan and I were looking, that Dulles was actually beginning to brighten up a little bit. So depending on where you are, it's very, very different by location. But once again, even though you may be seeing on your hearing on your phone or seeing on your TV that this tornado warning does remain in effect, technically it remains in effect. However, the National Weather Service has canceled it out, but their policy is if a tornado warning is issued and it's set to expire at 7 o'clock and they cancel it out at 6:49, it will come down. If they cancel it out at 6:51, it stays up for the duration of the entire time. So something that's always up for discussion. Jordan?
Yeah, so the gusty winds now going through northern Prince George's County, eventually into Anne Arundel County. Estimated time of arrival, we're talking Crofton at 7:12. That's for wind gusts anywhere from 55 to 60. Chesterfield there at 7:17 and Odenton at 7:22. Once it leaves Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County, if you live there, you know friends or family there, you can tell them to tune into WBFF because they'll likely be tracking these gusty winds as they go toward the Baltimore area. I also want to highlight the heavy rain that we have seen with this storm. So far, Steve, rainfall estimates by the radar already up to 1.5 inches around Alexandria outside of Reagan National Airport. That's why the flash flood warning continues until 8:45 for the DC Metro, Arlington, Alexandria, as we go over the next couple of hours.
All right, so here we have it, and we're going to focus a little bit less on that tornado warning that technically does not exist right now and more on the severe thunderstorm warning. Lots and lots of lightning out there, so you need to be extra, extra careful, and we're hearing it outside of our studios here. Scott's at the anchor desk. You were out there, or you got video for us, and quite a storm that rolled on through.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, Steve, you and Jordan just pointed out the fact that you have to talk about ground stops with airports whenever this occurs. You mentioned some of them. Somebody just posting on X, landing into BWI just now is a full-on grab the wall and pray experience. So scary out there on a lot of levels, and how quickly this moved through, even though, as you pointed out, a lingering storm compared to yesterday. But outside of these Arlington studios, this is the video that I shot earlier, it went from being, all right, a little bit dark at 6:30, darker than normal, and then 10 minutes later it was this.
And Jordan and I were commenting that I said, hey, Jordan, the trees are not even moving here in Roslyn.
Yeah,
and that was at 6:30. And
Steve, that's video, if you look, that's up through from the entryway to our building that I just took. And you can see it's hard to make out the roof of the building there. The visibility went to nothing because there were just, just
and
sheets
we're about
of rain coming down.
I believe 36 floors.
Yeah,
here in Roslyn, the towers.
It was notable, and then the flashes of lightning there as well.
All right, Jordan, we'll give you 15 seconds. Help wrap us up.
Yeah, well, gusty winds again, northern Prince George's County, so heads up Bowie to Lanham, anywhere from 55 to 60. Heavy rain behind it, lots of lightning. Steve, we're going to be done with all this, I think, by 8 o'clock for the DC Metro. Now, rain may continue for the next couple of hours, but I think the main concerns will be wrapping up here within the hour.
Absolutely, and the severe thunderstorm watch will likely get shaved down. We will keep the flood warning until 8:45 for the DC Metro. We may even see those flood warnings expand just a little bit more as the rain continues to fall very heavy in many areas. Scott?
All right, that'll do it for us. We'll have continuous coverage throughout the night. We hope you'll join us again back here at 11 o'clock. Stay safe.